Welcome to Water Online Radio's coverage from WEFTEC, broadcasting live from New Orleans, Louisiana. WEFTEC 16, creating the future of water. Water Online Radio is brought to you by wateronline.com, showcasing today's water industry leaders and innovators. And now, here's your host, Todd Schnick.
All right, good afternoon and welcome back to our 6th year of coverage from WEFTEC. I'm your host, Todd Schnick, joined by my friend and colleague, Bill King. Looking forward to this conversation. Cool organization. I don't think we've had them on the show before, have we not?
I don't think so. And, you know, we interview a lot of equipment vendors on the show, so it's really refreshing to talk to a different type of organization.
Absolutely, and they're doing some important work in the industry, so I'm looking forward to the conversation. We're joined this afternoon by Karen Frost. She's the Director of Small Business Development for the Water Council. Karen, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, the pleasure is ours. I appreciate you stopping by. I know you're awfully busy doing very, very important work here at WEFTEC. There's another event we probably ought to talk about as well, but do appreciate you making time to join us. I know you're busy here, so appreciate that. Do us a favor, before we get into our conversation, take a few minutes and walk us through the Water Council. What's your mission and purpose?
Sure. So the Water Council is a private nonprofit. We are based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And we were really formed back in 2009 by industry. So there's just a great density of water technology companies that are in our region and across our state that were really at the genesis of, you know, the legacy industries in Milwaukee. So brewing, tanning, and so on. Those industries that were very water intensive used a lot of water. And so around those early industries grew all the companies to support those water users, so the pipes, the pumps, the meters, the valves, the filters, and so on. And all of those companies have grown and flourished in Wisconsin and across the state. And our organization was actually at the behest of industry that felt that an organization to coalesce and really drive more economic development within that industry would be useful. And so the Water Council was formed in 2009, member-based organization, and we've been doing great things since that time.
Outstanding.
Karen, it's really interesting because I remember a couple of years ago, there was a lot of buzz about EPA clusters and these sort of little groups of companies clustering together to innovate kind of all around the country.
Yep.
But the one that sort of stands out to me is the Wisconsin and the Water Council. What is it? What's special about the Water Council compared to some of these other clusters?
So that's a great question. I appreciate that. There are a lot of organizations and good organizations around the country that really have a mind for water and want to bring water forward as a voice and an issue in the community, and bring technologies and solutions to their regions. I think the differentiator with Milwaukee is our early entry into that, the fact that we were driven by industry, and the fact that we work very seamlessly not only with industry, but with our local academic partners, so multiple universities, along with working very closely with our state economic development organization to really make it a very seamless support network and ecosystem all around water technology. So it really is very mature and very comprehensive, from serving the earliest stage companies through to the major employers and providing the services and benefits to the companies anywhere along that spectrum.
Now, I understand you have a new initiative that we'd love to hear about. Tell us all about that.
Sure. So just on Monday of this week, we launched a new initiative, and really it's kind of the next evolution of the Water Council. It's called the ICE Institute. Very clever, I guess, with the relationship to water. My name, Frost, you know, it's all water related. So, but ICE stands for Innovation, Commercialization, Exchange. And it's all about kind of the next evolution of the Water Council, and that is creating a member-based program that will search out solutions that industry is needing. So whether it's a large water user, a utility, or someone in agriculture that needs to find solutions, what we will be doing is having scouts, essentially tech scouts, that will be reaching out into technologies within the federal labs, within university labs, and then in the entrepreneurial ecosystem to try and find solutions to meet those specific needs of the members, and then going through a vetting process. So what is the financial model? Is there opportunity within that particular technology space? Is there a lot of competitive programming or technology? Is this something very unique or disruptive in the market? So that at the end of the day, we bring back to our members vetted solutions then that they can put their own analyses on to see if that particular technology solution is something that they would want to bring internal into their company and productize or bring along in their engineering process, license it, adopt it, purchase it, whatever. So just trying to be that strategic connector of technology solutions to the needs of industry.
How different approach is that to how the Water Council has operated previously?
So I think we have always been about that. In fact, our Brew Accelerator program serves much like that, but at a micro scale. We have 6 early technologies that we have or we select as part of our accelerator on an annual basis. And many times those accelerator companies are ones that are of interest to our water technology companies themselves, either as a market opportunity, a product opportunity. We also have a new corporate accelerator program so that a company like Veolia or A.O. Smith can actually put forth the particular challenge that they're trying to solve, and then they get to select those companies, and those companies that they select still go through the lean startup training of the Brew program, but they get to do the selection, and then that company is actually kind of incubated within their company. So it's kind of that, synthesizing of technologies with companies, but at a much grander scale and across multiple industry sectors. So not limited to water technology. It could be, automotive industry. It could be petrochemical. It could be anybody that really needs technology solutions.
That's very intriguing. You just launched this, right?
We did.
What's been the initial feedback?
So certainly we have early interest. A lot of our supporters in the Milwaukee area are supporters of the program. We have been in contact with other industries because we feel like it's certainly not it's not just an offering that would be appealing to a water technology company, but to food processing and, like I said, petrochemical or automotive or any other industry that really has water concerns that they would really like to augment their own internal innovation process. So, we may get to technologies through the federal labs evaluation or through university labs that they may or may not have the bandwidth to get to in their own tech scouting.
What I think is really special is one of the criticisms of this industry, and you can actually see it here at WEFTEC, is when you get out to the perimeter of this exhibit floor, you find these tiny companies that are invention-centric. So you have the entrepreneur that sees a singular contaminant that they go after and they create an analyzer to analyze it, let's say. But what I like about this new ICE approach is you're actually having large commercial companies identify a real niche and have these entrepreneurial companies actually try to fill that niche. Is that correct?
Well, yes, I think it's that and more, because we may be able to identify technologies that could be combined with other technologies, right? And be able to systematize something that would be a solution for one of the members of the program.
I think part of the charm of this, if I'm understanding the concept right, is you don't really know where it's going to go, because the synergies that may or may not pop, we don't know what's going to yield from that. It's really exciting. That's part of the charm of this is let's make something happen, because we don't know what greatness can result from this, right?
Right. And, we have great companies in innovation in the U.S., but it's not even limited to the U.S. I mean, there's great innovations across the globe, and we really want to have a global focus on bringing the best and highest solutions to those, to industry's problems. It's a big world out there, and there's lots of technology solutions, so it's really just trying to identify those and coalesce them so that they can be found and be identified and be brought to industry as a whole.
How do you guys support those companies that want to develop a technology, perhaps don't have the means to capital to do that? So they come to the Water Council, you perhaps help them through that commercialization process, but they're concerned that they're going to be eaten up by one of the larger companies later on. They're going to be basically, the technology is going to be taken in by a different company. And they want to kind of keep their own identity for as long as they possibly can. How do you work with companies like that?
I think it depends on the goals of the particular company, because some companies may want an exit strategy like that. I mean, their goal may be to develop something, have it be acquired into either another process or another product, and then they move on to another solution. For the companies that do need capital, that is an issue. I mean, it's an issue in the industry. Water technology as an opportunity is very underfunded compared to other investments, say in energy in the U.S. So it's an issue that we really want to bring focus to. We're trying to develop a small seed fund within the Water Council to help fund early stage businesses, but it's limited and it's difficult to coalesce that kind of capital. So part of our challenge is just bringing to light the opportunities that exist to fund those earlier stage technologies. But it is a challenge, not to be denied.
No, definitely.
So what are next steps? I mean, how do you get involved in this? Do you have to be a member to be involved in this?
So if you want to be able to be a company that would be identifying needs, so you're driving what is going to be sought as part of the ICE Institute, yes. And there is a membership model for that, and that will all be on our website, and we'd love to have people take a look at that. But, if you're an early stage company or an entrepreneur, so you're at the other end of the spectrum that might be feeding into the ICE Institute, we'll be seeking out those technologies. And like I said, there's a lot of opportunities that are within the federal labs that are very siloed, and we actually are working with the Federal Lab Consortium to work with them to help identify, some of those technologies. What labs are they in? Who are the principal investigators, and so on, so that we can bring those out into the marketplace so that they would have at least have hopes of commercialization or some advancement potential. Currently, I think those technologies tend to be, evaluated and finalized in the lab, and then they're never really brought to the light of day. And it's been a goal of the federal lab system to help bring more of those things into commercialization potential.
Mm-hmm. So looking ahead to 2017, I suspect the main focus, the main agenda will be the unrolling of ICE Institute. Is that correct? Anything else we should be aware of?
No, I think that's really one of the most exciting initiatives that we're launching. We're really excited about where that's going to go and the potential for it, and really seeing the growth and development of that to help bring water technology solutions broadly into the marketplace.
Outstanding. Well, we look forward to connecting next year and hearing how it's evolving, and maybe we'll get invitations to the other event we talked about pre-show. So that's very important as well. So, all right, Karen, we're running low on time. Before I let you go, should anyone have questions on any of this, how do they contact you? How do they learn more about the Water Council? How do they learn more about the ICE Institute? And how do you become a member?
Sure. So our website is probably the best place to go. It's thewatercouncil.com. The ICE program will actually be listed under our program tab. They can reach out to me. All of our contact information is on the website. They can reach out to our president and CEO, Dean Amhouse. So any of us can answer questions and make connections and provide information on the program, and we're excited for the opportunity to be able to do so.
We're excited to hear how this evolves. All right, Karen Frost, Director of Small Business Development with the Water Council. Thanks so much for stopping by and joining us.
Thank you again for having me.
Absolutely. All right, that's all the time we have for today. Check out all of our broadcasts from WEFTEC at wateronlineradio.com. Thanks for listening to the show. On behalf of all of us at Water Online, I'm Todd Schnick signing off. Water Online Radio will be right back.